What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I have my raspberry leaf tea this morning. I am drinking that. Apparently it helps soften the cervix for labor. I know it doesn't put me into labor, but apparently helps soften the cervix. I actually did a poll on Instagram and it was like literally 50-50. Some people believe in it, some people really don't believe in it. At the end of the day, it is what it is, I guess. I like to drink a lot of tea if you've been watching my channel for a while now, and this tea is actually pretty good, so I don't mind drinking it, and if it works, cool. If it doesn't, well, nothing I can do about it. Anyways, if I look a little tired this morning, it's just because my face is pretty swollen right now while my whole body is swollen. I feel like the Michelin Man. My hands, my feet, my legs, my face, everything is just swollen. We're at that point of pregnancy where I am just a swollen human right now, I guess you can say. Yeah, that is what I'm dealing with right now. Anyways, today I wanted to talk to you guys about the pregnant body. I was taking some maternity photos with the big belly down here, and my body has gone through a lot of changes in the past couple weeks. Like, I mean, your body goes through a lot of changes during pregnancy. And I talked about it. I talked about it my second trimester, all the changes that it's gone through and how I've kind of dealt with it. And even now, like, there's so many changes happening so fast at this point in my pregnancy. And I think it's important to talk about, and just, I wanted to be more honest and raw, I guess you can say, about the changes that are happening with my body, because there's a lot that is happening. If this video is a little jumbled, I didn't really have a plan for this video. I just kind of sat down and was like, you know what? I think we need to talk about this. So I do apologize if it is a little jumbled and rambly, but here we are. And I think that this is just something that we should all talk about at the end of the day. So I just want to put a little disclaimer out there that I know that the pregnant body is so different for each and every one of us. And a lot of you might be able to relate to this, and maybe a good portion of you might not be able to relate to this, but we all go through changes in our pregnant bodies, and it, like I said, it's so different for each and every one of us. And I just want to share with like what I'm going through right now. I've had a lot of people ask me about like the stretch marks on my body and how I've been able to maintain not having too many stretch marks, which isn't the reality. I actually have stretch marks that are happening, and they've happened like very fast. I didn't have stretch marks for a while, and then really in the past like couple weeks they've really come out quite a bit, just because my belly has grown so much and so fast. And that's okay. Some people get them early on, and some people get them later on, and some people don't get them at all. And I've realized that when it comes to stretch marks, it's different for everyone, and it really just depends on your body. So there's not really a way that you can be like, I'm 100% preventing stretch marks by doing this. It really isn't like that. You can do everything that they recommend, but it doesn't mean it's going to prevent stretch marks, which is completely okay. I've had kind of ups and downs when it comes to the stretch marks on my body. I'm grateful for the stretch marks on my body because it shows that I've created a human life, and that is absolutely amazing. And then there's sometimes where I have a hard time dealing with the stretch marks on my body, just because of, really at the end of the day, it comes down to me worrying about what society is going to think about my body. And it's kind of sad to think about that, but I have my ups and downs, and it's really something that I've really been conflicted about. And there's nothing wrong. Like, I know that my stretch marks are going to look completely different than the next person, and that is okay. And it's just learning to accept them. It's part of my life now. It's part of my body, and there's nothing I can do about it. I did do a lot of like moisturizing my body, but it wasn't to necessarily prevent the stretch marks, because I learned that that's not necessarily going to prevent the stretch marks. It's really like just to help with kind of the moisturizing of the stretching skin, because sometimes when the belly is stretching out, it is uncomfortable as hell. So it's really nice to just kind of put a bit of a moisturizer on my body to help with that. And even then, like, it doesn't matter what moisturizer you use, because I've seen a lot of like belly oils that are like hundreds of dollars or like $80, and then I've seen like people just using regular moisturizer, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you use, because no one product is going to prevent the stretch marks. You're either going to get them or you don't, and it is part of just the changing body. So I've gotten a little bit of stretch marks on my legs, and that's really because I've had a hard time with my legs, which we will get into, but also I've gotten some on my side here a little bit. I had some stretch marks already there, which I've learned to accept as well because they're part of my changing body and they're part of my changed body in the past. And so I've gotten a couple on my side, but a majority of my stretch marks have started happening at the bottom part of my belly, like underneath and around my belly button, because of how much it is just expanding. This kid is definitely growing, so that's all part of it. Like, I see so many social media influencers with these like perfect bodies with no stretch marks, and they look so great, and that's great for them, but I think it's also important to represent the bodies with the stretch marks, that there's a lot more women who deal with stretch marks than women who don't deal with stretch marks. And that is okay. And it really bothers me how stretch marks are so kind of demonized in our society for the woman's body. And it's really frustrating to me because it's all part of a woman's body. It's all part of growth. Even men get stretch marks, and it's something that needs to be more accepted. Like, it's just part of the body that's changed, the elasticity of our skin and how it's changed, and that is okay. And I don't know what I'm gonna feel like postpartum about my body, because I'm not in the future, obviously. Postpartum, my body's gonna be different, but those stretch marks will probably still be there, and I need to learn to accept that and know that these stretch marks created a beautiful human life, and that I was able to carry a healthy pregnancy and be healthy throughout my pregnancy. Just because someone has stretch marks does not equate that they are healthy or not. Just because someone has stretch marks does not equate their health. And that is something that a lot of people need to remember, and I needed to remind myself that too. Because you're gaining weight, and I've gained a significant amount of weight throughout my pregnancy, I reminded myself that I've done the best that I can do to maintain a healthy body. I worked out when I felt good. I walked when I could, when it wasn't -20 outside, and I ate as healthy as I could. And I tried to maintain that as much as possible throughout my pregnancy. And if I gained more weight, it is what it is, and I can't change anything about that. And I'm just going to live the healthiest lifestyle that I can live. And I had tried to live the healthiest lifestyle that I have throughout this pregnancy. And just because I've gained weight and I've gained some stretch marks on my belly does not mean that I am an unhealthy person. For some reason, like I said, we've demonized stretch marks, and we've made stretch marks seem like such a negative thing. It's just sometimes, yes, we do gain some weight in some areas, and it does cause our body to create some stretch marks because it has been gained rapidly. Like, a lot of people forget to realize that a lot of times we gain stretch marks during puberty because our bodies change pretty quickly, and it just happens, and it does not mean that you're unhealthy because you gain some stretch marks. Like, it is super frustrating to me that we see stretch marks as such a bad thing, when in reality it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just our skin expanding. So at the end of the day, you might not be able to see the stretch marks on my body, but I did gain stretch marks on my body, and that is okay. I didn't do anything to try and prevent it and to try and stop it from happening. I literally had to let it happen because of my changing body, and it just happened at this point in my pregnancy. And like I said, it might happen at a different point in someone else's pregnancy, or you might not get them at all. It really just depends our skin at the end of the day and the elasticity of our skin. So that is something that I wanted to really talk about, because stretch marks are so looked down upon. And even myself, when I realized I started having stretch marks, I was like, oh no, like, I can't have stretch marks, it's gonna look bad. But then I realized, like, that has nothing to do with it. I accept my body for the way it is, and it's creating this human life, and I'm grateful for the life that it is creating, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can change. And if I'm constantly thinking like, well, what if I didn't get pregnant? What if I didn't do this, this, and this? what's it going to change? At the end of the day, it's not going to change anything. I can think about all these things, but it's just going to cause me more anxiety and more hatred and confliction with my body. Whereas at this point, I need to learn to just accept it. I'm at the point of my pregnancy where I can go into labor any day now, and it is what it is, and I'm proud of what my body has accomplished throughout these past 9 months and what I've gone through and how I've conquered this pregnancy, because it has been not so easy, and pregnancy definitely isn't easy, but I'm grateful for what it has done. And that also leads me into me talking about my legs as well. I've kind of been embarrassed or shamed a little bit about my legs, but a lot of people don't talk about having bad circulation in their legs. I have had really bad circulation in my legs. It actually started in the second trimester, and my legs have been just so discolored. Some days they look like almost like they're dead, and some days they're like super purple, and I've been just really having a hard time accepting that as well. And it's been all part of the process with the stretch marks and everything like that. I've gotten stretch marks on my thighs, on the inside of my thighs, because of the swelling that's happening and the bad circulation that's happening. And there's not much I can do about that. I've dealt with it as much as possible. And it's similar to the stretch marks. Like I said, I had days where I'm like, okay, I accept it, it is what it is. And there's days where I've had a really hard time accepting that change in my body. Maybe it will go back to normal after pregnancy, it probably will. Seeing the struggles with my legs and seeing that my legs are so discolored, I think it's something to talk about, because not a lot of people necessarily deal with bad circulation in their legs. But also, I think it's something to kind of normalize as well, because of how many people just don't talk about it. Like, I didn't even know I was having bad circulation within my legs, and we did some tests with my doctor to make sure that it wasn't something else. But at the end of the day, it's just crappy circulation, and I just kind of have to deal with it until after my pregnancy. It's all part of the journey. Just like the swelling that my body's going through, my legs have been extremely swollen, but also dealing with bad circulation. It is so weird. Same with my feet. I'm losing the ankle bones, and same with my fingers. I can't wear rings or anything like that because of how swollen they are. Anyways, at the end of the day, I think it's important to talk about the changing body, and that there's so many expectations that are put on the pregnant body of what you're expected to look like, and that's not the reality for a majority of us, and that is completely okay. Our body's changing so fast, and it's really hard to kind of deal with, especially with a lot of societal pressures of the people that are around us. Like, it can be hard sometimes, but I think it's something that should be talked about, and the struggles that we deal with should be normalized a lot more than what they are now. And talking about the stretch marks and talking about that you can't prevent them. There's so many people who are like, this is how you prevent stretch marks, when in reality, it happens to us. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. We can help it to maybe make it less uncomfortable when our skin is stretching, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna be completely stretch mark free if you use a certain product. And same with how your body's changing. It's going through so many changes, and it's changing so fast, and it's hard to deal with sometimes mentally. And I've definitely struggled through that throughout this pregnancy, and definitely in the past couple weeks. And that is okay. And we need to remind ourselves that it's okay to deal with these struggles, and that I know a lot of people think that women shouldn't, be upset about their changing body, because they should be grateful that their body is creating a human life, which of course I am, and I know a lot of women are, but we're still allowed to struggle with our changing bodies because our lives are changing so fast. And this isn't just another part of the change that we need to kind of learn to kind of wrap our heads around and kind of perceive our bodies in a new way because of how fast it has changed. I hope that if you're going through a pregnancy, that you're doing okay and you're doing the best that you can do to maintain your health, the health of your baby, learning that there isn't the perfect pregnant body, and if you don't fit that perfect pregnant body mold, that is completely okay. And I need to remind myself that, and I just want to put that out there. So yes, I know this was a bit rambly, I do apologize, but I just felt like I needed to kind of put this out there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. It truly does help the channel a lot. And if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. You guys know where it is. And don't forget to be unstoppable. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Summer days burn me out, love just brings me down. Go inside like windshield leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting brown, baby, drink your night.